Did you know that the American Heritage Dictionary defines a geek as someone who is a carnival performer and bites the heads off of live chickens and snakes?
I thought a geek was a dad who pretends to be a barbarian and calls himself Airboy.
I do like chicken.
My name's Airboy the Barbarian, and I love comics, but I can't go to the Baltimore Comic-Con. Do you know why? Because I'm surrounded by hundreds and hundreds of miles of cornfield in rural Iowa, and I can't afford to go. Could you help me?
How am I going to get to the Baltimore Comic-Con? I can't afford it. Comic Corps said that they would pay my way if I made a decent video. Let's develop a plan. 1. Make a plan. Well, I've got to make a video as part of the plan. 2. Make a video. That's a good idea. What should I have in the video? 3. Beg? Should I beg them? That plan sucks. 3. Make good content that the Comic Corps would appreciate. That's a good idea. Maybe that's what I'll try to do. At least if I don't get the tickets, I've made some good content, made some comic book friends. I think that's what I'll do. Man, check this out. My daughter Anna Banana found out that there's a Comic-Con in Wisconsin. It's like 7.5 hours away. I don't know if I'll be able to make it or we can afford to even go as a family. I'd like to really go to a big one like in Baltimore, but if I could go here and get some content, that would be great. Looks like Neal Adams is going to be there. That's cool. Looks like he redid this drawing here, Silver Surfer 4. It's a Buscema drawing. But Neal Adams is awesome. He had some really cool drawings. I've always loved this Action Comics. That's Neal Adams art right there. He did this Man Thing. I like Man Thing and Swamp Thing. That's kind of freaky. Check that out, Anna. What do you think of that? Just looking over those kids. Isn't that kind of weird? That's kind of disturbing, actually. Batman. He's done some awesome Batman covers. Always liked both of those. He even did a little bit of work for Atlas Comics. I think he did the drawing there on that Iron Jaw, and I think he did the inks on this one, Planet of the Vampires. And of course, a lot of people love this cover he's done. Adams is like a Picasso of the pulp, man. Superman, it's a race between Superman and Flash. He did that cover too. Love to talk to him. I don't know if he'd be able to talk to me or not. Maybe if I can get there somehow. Who smells worse, a wet beast or Swamp Thing? Swamp Thing. What do you think he smells like?
Trash.
Trash? He smells like trash? Like a toilet? Or more like a sewer smell? We'll see. Anyway, maybe we'll ask Mr. Adams that. What does he smell like? So the question I have is who came out first? Man Thing, Swamp Thing, or either of them? Was one copy of another? All these muck monsters that came out about the same time. Man Thing supposedly came out Savage Tales #1. The issue came out published May 1971. House of Secrets 92, Bernie Wrightson. That came out in, I believe it was July of 1971. Both characters borrowed heavily from a character from early Airboy comics called the Heap. Here's an issue, one of the issues of early Airboy. It's a Golden Age comic that was produced by Hillman Periodicals, and it's pretty affordable actually. But it's a Golden Age comic. It had stories of Airboy and then other stories, Heap. And Heap was a copy of another character that came out prior to that, invented by a guy by the name of Theodore Sturgeon. It told the story of a man who basically had died in a swamp and then came back to life, or his corpse was reanimated. And actually Marvel came out with supernatural thrillers #1 in 1972, December 1972, before Swamp Thing or Man Thing were even popular. And so you've got all these muck monsters, and I was always curious as to who invented the Swamp Thing or the Man Thing. Who can we credit with its creation? To muddy the waters even further, no pun intended, Swamp Thing also was illustrated by Neal Adams. Wasn't called Swamp Thing, but there's a Swamp Thing type prototype in Phantom Stranger #14. And so I'm going to try to investigate as much as I can with my little resources. And the goal is to talk to Neal Adams personally, because Neal Adams was a big influence on Bernie Wrightson and others during that time period, who came up with the general appearance of the Swamp Thing. So here's the problem. Who came first? Man Thing, Swamp Thing, or some hybrid Neal Adams version of both? You see, Phantom Stranger #14 came out kind of in between both of them. Man Thing supposedly came out in Savage Tales #1 prior to Phantom Stranger 14, and Swamp Thing #1 came out a lot later. But of course it showed up also in House of Secrets #92. I guess the only way to get down to this mystery is to ask Neal Adams himself. But it seems awful peculiar that Neal Adams' Phantom Stranger #14 looks a lot similar to Man Thing. So I am just wondering who in the world created this.
My dad is obsessed with going to this Comic-Con. Obsessed. I wonder what he's doing now. Oh, that's our old Suburban. Wait, there he is. What are you doing?
Blasted thing. Yeah, look at that stupid nut.
What?
What? Who is it?
It's me.
What do you... No. I'm working on this old truck. I'm just trying to go see Neal Adams at the Comic-Con. I've just got to fix it and change the oil and everything. I don't know, whatever it takes, I'm going to get there, even if I got to take this 31-year-old truck. Okay, we're here at the Wisconsin Comic-Con. We're first in line. We've been here since early in the morning just to talk to Neal Adams. We're excited about it, and we're going to ask him some questions about the Swamp Thing and the Man Thing, whether he came up with it first.
Where am I going?
And if I could pay you to sign it, if that's all right.
Even that, you know, I forced myself to do that.
Okay.
I mean, if somebody gave me money, would I sign something?
Yeah, you bet.
It's so hard to, you know.
They gave you a little bit of money to draw something, right? Okay, this one here.
Yeah, very nice.
Okay. So here's my question.
Okay.
A month before this issue came out, Savage Tales 1 came out with the Man Thing.
Yeah.
A month after this came out, House of Secrets '92 came out with the Swamp Thing. But I know that you take a long time to probably draw these
More
things.
than that, Power Records came out with a thing called Swamp Boy.
Okay.
Something like that. Swamp
And
Boy.
back in the day, there was a comic called Airboy that had the heat bit.
Heat.
My
They all
question
come
is,
from the heat.
yeah, this looks like Swamp Thing, Man Thing, and you did this. And
What's the question?
my question is this.
Do I mind doing swamp creatures over and over again?
No,
for
no.
money.
My question is this: that you're not credited with coming up with what to me looks like a prototype Swamp Thing or Man Thing.
No, but I didn't do it. I know the heat.
Okay.
I mean, I didn't. It's really what do you call Bernie Wrightson.
Yeah.
Wasn't he pretty much first?
Well, House of
Pretty
Secrets
much.
'92 came after this
Yeah,
one.
but I kind of worked with
Okay.
over at DC and kind of helped me get in.
Okay.
So I knew what was going on.
I love his
But
art too.
But
yeah.
I knew the heat. Okay. I mean, I knew where all this came from.
Okay.
I didn't go around with a bullhorn yelling at everybody, "What the hell's wrong with you? I'm copying the heat." But that's what they were doing.
Yeah.
And the heat was like lost in history. By that time, nobody knew who the heat was.
Okay.
That's for comic book historians,
Definitely.
not for me.
Well, I collect the Airboys just for the heat.
Yeah, right. The heat's great. Right there. You want me to sign that thing?
Yeah, that
You
one.
only got a black, what do you call it?
One more that for Bernie's first work, and I think you did the cover to that comic. Yeah.
Yeah, black. No, I don't want a black marker. I want a black.
Thanks, Marilyn.
You got a gold or silver one too, if you think it look better.
I could try it.
You did this one too, right?
Yeah, right.
And Bernie's first work is in there, I guess. Here's a gold and a silver. That's beautiful. The Silver Surfer 4 that you did too for the Comic-Con, that one you just did. I'm telling people they don't know who drew that, and I've been telling them it's here.
Well, the truth is that they had me really do John Buscemi.
Yeah.
Really quite a copy of John Buscemi.
Beautiful, yeah.
It looks a little better because the composition is a little bigger.
Yeah.
But it's the same thing.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
They did it for nostalgia reasons.
Yeah.
Copy John Buscemi.
That's beautiful. No, I love it. Thank you, Mr. Adams. How much do I owe you?
You owe her $100.
Sure. And we enjoyed the whole convention. I thought Neal Adams was really insightful and polite and being able to talk to me. He visits with a lot of people, and so I appreciated that. Learned a little bit about Swamp Thing, about his relationship with Bernie Wrightson, which was cool. And then also, what was really neat was that he was willing to, of course, sign the comic books. Now, for those of you who have never had Adams sign a comic book, he charges $50, which is rather expensive. And if you noticed during the video, he made a lot of mention about money, and he'd sign anything for money. But he's got to make a living. I know back in the day, a lot of artists of his ilk didn't make a whole lot per page, and they didn't have rights to their own creations, and so that's understandable. He signed this copy of Phantom Stranger. I also had him sign a copy of A House of Mystery 179, which for those of you that don't know, Neal Adams did the cover for this, but what's more significant is Bernie Wrightson. His first professional work in comic books is in House of Mystery number 179. It's a 3-page spread, so that's why I had him sign that comic book. So check it out. This is House of Mystery number 179. Came out in 1969. It's the first professional work of Bernie Wrightson. You got to look for this book. It costs about $10. It's a steal. A lot of people don't realize that it contains his first work. He had a short story here that he illustrated, The Man Who Murdered Himself. It's a 3-page spread. The Man Who Murdered Himself. And of course you can see Wrightson's classic style. It's a cheap book. Just try to get it. It's got a cool Neal Adams monochromatic cover. And of course you see Neal's signature right there. What was your favorite part of the convention?
I walked around with Mom and Abby, and we were stupid in front in just one little area, and it was fun.
Like, what did you do?
Mom tried to take pictures of me, and I wouldn't let her, so she started chasing me with the camera. I was standing there, and I didn't want to have my picture taken, and Mom ran around and chased me around like in a circle, trying to take my picture.
Oh.
And then one of the convention people said, "Hey, you can't have your camera out here to the famous people." And Mom was like, "Oh, be sorry, we were just messing around."
Didn't you try to take free pictures of Creed.
We did though. We got one.
What was his real name?
Creed.
His real name's Creed?
His real name's Creed.
From The Office?
Yes.
And you took a picture of him without his permission?
Yes. Another guy did it too, but he got caught.
I want to thank the Comic Corps for the idea. This was an enterprise to be able to produce a video, to get tickets to the Baltimore Comic-Con, and I appreciate the opportunity to do this. Even if we don't win, at least we had a fun time. Do you have anything to add, Anna?
It was fun.
It was fun. Yeah, it was fun. So read a comic every day, and read your Bible every day, and you'll have a happy life.